Hello and welcome to tonight's edition of Cracking the Cryptic on a roasting hot day here in Surrey in the UK. It is absolutely boiling. I have not had my, I do have a sort of air conditioning unit in my office, but it's falling to pieces and I haven't had it on a bit daftly, and I'm boiling hot, but I need to get a video done, so that is what I'm going to attempt to do. The puzzle on the screen is called Harmonic Split, and it's by GDC. GDC is one of these incredibly consistent constructors, and I think it's relatively easy to be a decent constructor of pretty good puzzles. But the thing that GDC, it always strikes me about every single one of GDC's puzzles is they're always brilliant. If you look at their ratings on Logic Masters Germany, they are all sort of 95% plus, and that is a real skill. Now let me just show you, I just snipped some comments about this one, which has been recommended to us a few times as well. But I mean, these comments just are absolutely eulogistic, aren't they? Oh, 4 stars it says. Okay, so it's a little bit difficult. I forgot to look at that. Calvin Ball, 10 out of 10, would puzzle again. And it's Yin Yang Math, apparently. That must be Damasosos 89, and Geometry. So we've got some Yin Yang today, and I will explain the rules in a moment or two's time. I don't have much news for you today. Just an appeal, I suppose. If you do enjoy the channel, that's great. Consider subscribing. It is free to subscribe to YouTube channels, and what it does is it helps this crazy thing, this puzzle we've never solved called the YouTube algorithm. So if we make videos and lots of people subscribe, the YouTube algorithm thinks, oh, more people might like to learn about these wonderful variant Sudoku puzzles, and it spreads it a bit more widely. And believe me, this is I think variant Sudoku is one of those things that could be done with spreading more widely. There are a whole variety of things where spreading would be a bad thing. Variant Sudoku is not one of those things. Variant Sudoku and puzzles generally need to be spread as widely as possible, in my humble opinion. I hope you agree, and if you do consider subscribing. We'd appreciate it. If you really like us, then we've got our Patreon site as well, where we put lots and lots of extra content. But in the absence of any other major news, why don't we have a look at the rules of Harmonic Split by GDC? And this is what we've got to do to solve the puzzle. We've got normal Sudoku rules apply, so that means we're going to have to put the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, every column, and every 3 by 3 box. Double a yin yang. Shade each cell light or dark so that cells of the same colour are orthogonally connected, and each 2 by 2 contains both colours. Let's just start with that. What does that mean? This is the pattern I normally draw to indicate a valid yin-yang. So this pattern is a possible way that we could divide the grid. And the reason is that you can trace through every green cell through other green cells that share an edge. So if we were to add that cell into the panoply of green cells, now we don't obey the rules of the puzzle, because this cell here does not orthogonally connect to the rest of the green area. It only touches the other green cells at points, at the vertices. That's not good enough. So this would restore a possible shading. You can see the purple cells obey the same rule. You can trace through all the purple cells through other purple cells that share an edge. And if you hunt in this grid, I don't believe you'll find any 2 by 2 area which is a single colour. So that's the final piece of the sort of yin-yang rule. Now, dark, I shouldn't have got rid of that, should I? Let's bring it back. Dark cells have double their digits as values. Light cells are unaffected. So if we view purple as light and green as dark, what that's saying is that those 2 cells are doubled. That one is left unaffected, that's doubled. Those 3 are unaffected, and that's doubled. Now why do we need to investigate the values? Well, it's this last paragraph of rules where it says equal split lines. Dots split lines into segments with equal value sums. Values may repeat on segments, but digits may not. Digits may not. Right, okay. So what that means is, let's look at this one. It means that if this was the real yin-yang shading, those two digits doubled would have a value that is equal to those two doubled plus those four not doubled, I think. Let's find an easier one. Let's look at this one. So this one would be saying that one doubled is equal to those two doubled plus those two natural. It's a really interesting rule, isn't it? I quite like the idea of these equal split lines, that this has sort of been a new genesis from equal sum lines, where the lines were divided by the box borders into segments with equal sum. But this is, I think, even more flexible than that, isn't it? It's a really good idea. I think we'll see lots of puzzles with equal split line rules. Do have a go, though. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual. But now, I get to play. Let's get cracking. Now, I presume what we're going to have to do is to deal with some yin-yang secrets in order to solve this puzzle, because that's almost always what you have to do at the start of any yin-yang puzzle. So what are the secrets of yin-yang? There are two that are crucial. The first is that it is impossible in yin-yang puzzles for there to be a 2x2 area that is covered in a checkerboard shading. Now, why is that? Well, it's because of the requirement that the greens will form an orthogonally connected area and the purples will form an orthogonally connected area. And hopefully you can see that no matter how we connect these purples together orthogonally, no matter what sort of route we take to do it, now attaching this green to this green is impossible. This green is it's been enclosed in a pool of purple, and that's not going to be good for it. It won't be able to connect to its friend here, and therefore the puzzle's broken. So no checkerboards. Now, there is an implication that flows from that as regards the perimeter, because the perimeter of a yin-yang puzzle could be one colour. That is totally reasonable. There's nothing that prevents that in the rules. It could even be two colours. Let's put some purple into the edge. That's fine. What it can't be, if we had established this as a potential, let's say that we had that as a potential shading, the question to ask is it possible for any of these to be purple now? And the answer is no, and it's a similar argument to the checkerboard argument, because this purple would have to connect to some purple up here somehow in the puzzle, and in doing that you're going to isolate this green and prevent it orthogonally connecting to this green. So what this means is that you can have a change of colour in the perimeter, but only one change of colour. So if the perimeter is not one colour, it will be two contiguous strings of colour only. It won't be more than that. And that normally means, with these sorts of puzzles, that we have to try and locate the breaks in the perimeter, because there can't be many breaks. Now, okay, sorry, I've stopped talking, because I was thinking that would be obvious as to where the breaks are. I'm not even sure I know. I've seen something else. That cell is a doubler. What colour should we have for double? Let's have green. This is a doubler. And the reason I'm seeing that must be a doubler is look at those 4 digits. Now, even if these were all undoubled, they've all got to be different. In fact, I think along the lines, I mean, these have all got to be different by Sudoku, but I think along the lines you're not allowed to repeat digits. So along this line, for example. Oh, in fact, that's important. Yeah, hang on, we're going to come back to that. So, so these are all different. Let's make them as small as we can. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Well, that's already 10, isn't it, for value there? Plus at least an, oh, well, we couldn't have a 1 there. In fact, yeah, those 5 digits are all different. So even if they're not doubled, they add up to 15 at least. So this must be doubled. And in fact, there's a parity point there then, isn't there? Because that must be 8 or 9, because it's at least 15, and that's if all of these are undoubled. But whatever this is, it's even, because we're doubling it. So 15 is not the right total. It's either 16 or 18. No, okay. I mean, there are implications from that. You couldn't make this work without there being a 1 and a 2 at least on the string, but the 1 or the 2 could be here, so I don't think it's as simple as saying sort of that there's 1 and a 2 in that section, and saying there's a 1 and a 2 between those 5 cells is a much less potent conclusion. So I'm going to go down here. Those 4 digits all have to be different. Again, even if they're undoubled then, they're adding up to 10, aren't they? So this must be a doubled cell. The only problem with all of this is it's not really helping the perimeter. What about that? I mean, we may as well note that that must be 1 of each colour, because the value of this is meant to be the same as the value of this. So the only way we can achieve that and not break Sudoku rules is if one of these is double the other. Now what that means is that one of them will be a doubled 1, 2, 3 or 4, and the other one will be a plain 2, 4, 6 or 8. So again, there's going to be a sort of doubling relationship. You know, the double digit here won't be more than 4, because if it was 5, then the other digit would have to have a value of 10, and that's impossible. I'm not really sure. There must be something going on, I think, in the perimeter around these cells. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, there's at least 1 doubler here then. It's a bit more complicated this, but look, there are 6 cells on that segment there. So given that we know all of those 6 digits are different, the triangular number for 6 is 21. 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 is 21. So I know even, in fact, here's another point I've just noticed. They can't all be 1 colour. Because if they are, what colour's this? It can't be the other colour, because it could never connect to its friends in the grid, and it can't be orange because that would be a 2 by 2. So in fact, it's actually impossible for those 6 cells to all just be normal natural values. At least one of them is doubled, and therefore the value of those 6 cells, even if we minimise them and only doubled the 1, would be 22 minimum. So how are we going to make those two, only 2 digits, add up to 22? Well, the answer is at least one of them is doubled, possibly both. So doubled is my green thing, isn't it? So I don't really know how to do that. There is definitely at least 1 green in there. Now, I mean, I can see how I want those to be green, because this is a great 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so here we might have to talk about a secret. I sometimes don't get to talk about the secret for days on end, but today I'm going to talk about it. The secret is something I share with only my very favourite people. But if you're watching this video still after 14 minutes, you're definitely one of my favourite people. You're practically, you're practically family, frankly. To spend 14 minutes in my company is more than most people manage. So, what is the secret? The secret is that all 9 Sudoku digits, which could be thought of as the value of sort of a whole row or column or box of a Sudoku, is 45. That is what you get if you add 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 plus 7 plus 8 plus 9 together. Now, that's really important, isn't it? Because, well, there's 2 things, or there's maybe more than 2 things. Firstly, could all of these be just plain vanilla undoubled? Could that only sum to 45? Well, the answer is no. Because if this is all purple, what are these? These both have to be purple as well, and we're going to have 2x2s. So there's at least one doubler. There may be more than that. We'll have to think about that. But there's definitely at least one doubler in that 9-cell segment. And even if we double the 1, we're up to 46. So these 3 cells have to sum to 46 or more. Well, they've all got to be doubled. Definitely. Because imagine one of them wasn't doubled. We could make them 9 and 8, double those, and a 7 undoubled. That's the highest we could get to. 9 and 8 doubled is 34, plus 7 is 41. Well, 46 is a lot more than 41. So all of those are doubled. And now, well, now there's a question, isn't there? Let me think about this. Sorry, Maverick's just flying over and distracting me. So the only way... I'm trying to think if it's possible for this now to add up. Because we know one of these is green. Green either is going to form a contiguous section of the perimeter that goes all the way round, sort of anti-clockwise, or more simply, those 3 are going to be green. Those. Now, the thing that I'm interested in about connecting it this way, the simple way, is it doubles 2 digits on the 9-cell line. And is that possible? So if we know from the secret that all 9 digits add up to, it might be possible, mightn't it? Because all 9 digits in SUDOKU add up to 45. If I knock out the 1 and the 2, that's 42, and double the 1 and the 2, that would give me 6 more for 48, which is what I would get if this was a 7, 8, 9 triple, and I doubled all of them. So I think the way that this would work, I'm just going to look at this for a second. It would have to be like that. And everything else here... Oh, no, that doesn't... Okay, no, it's better. It's easier. Yeah, this doesn't work. Now, the reason it doesn't work is actually this box. So I've concluded the only way we can connect green across the north side is making these 2 the doubles and everything else the singles. Well, what colour are we going to make this? Because we can't make a purple 2x2 and we can't make a green 2x2, so there's no way to do it. You can't do it. So we can't connect green across the top. Now, the surprising implication about that is that we have to connect green then. So we don't know. These both might be green, but we now, because we know one of them is green, this one must be green, because we have to connect the greens together in one patch of huge swathe of green. That is indubitably green. This one we know less about. I'm actually going to ungreenify this because it's going to confuse me. All of these are now purple. In fact, that purple has to get out, so that's got to come out to here. That's got to be purple to avoid a 2x2 there. So that, look at this, this is checkerboard avoidance. Excuse me if I'm going quick with the checkerboard avoidance. I've done so many yin-yang puzzles over the years that I will occasionally spot things like that relatively swiftly. This 1, 2 is absolute nonsense. This 7, 8, 9 is nonsense because we don't know now how this works. Although we have got one doubler. We've got one doubler. Right. This is huge. This is absolutely huge. Because here is a question now. I've got one doubler on this huge section. Can I have no more doublers on this? So can I make all of those? I clearly can't. Those can't all be purple. There's got to be another doubler there. Otherwise I've got a... In fact, it's got to be there. Otherwise I've got a 2x2. So now there are definitely two doublers on the 9-cell segment. And we know we can only do that if this is 789. If this is a doubled 1 or 2, the other thing that's getting doubled here is a 1 or a 2. In fact, there, in one of those three. And everything else on this line has to be undoubled. So all of those have to be undoubled. Yeah, this is beautiful. Right. Okay. So I can have one more doubler. The thing I'm looking at is this domino. Now that domino cannot be double purple because that's going to create a 2 by 2. So there is a green in there. There might be 2 greens, but there's definitely a green. And that's going to have to get out without taking 2 cells along this line. Because if it takes 2 cells along this line, we can't make this segment add up to only 48. So I think it's got to take that one as the doubler, and now everything else is undoubled. That's a 1 or a 2. That's a, oh, that is green to avoid a 2 by 2 here. So that green does get out. Now there's checkerboard avoidance opportunities. This green still hasn't got out, so out it goes. Avoid a checkerboard here. So we only got a tiny stretch of purple on the perimeter. Oh, look, and this didn't. I thought that was going to be doubled, both of these, but it's not. So we definitely need to think about this at some point. I'm just trying to see if there's something more I can glean from this one first. I mean, those squares are low, well, they're medium digits, aren't they? 3, 4, 5, and 6. And I've still got to put 7, 8, and 9 on this string. I don't know. I feel like there is something we can do there, but I can't see it actually. Okay, maybe let's try. I don't know. Let me think. This line is interesting now. No, actually it's not. No, it's not. If that was if they were 1 and 2 doubled, they're actually only worth 6, aren't they? And then those would be 3 and 4, 13, but we know it has to have an even value. So 14, I suppose that's 7, 8 or 9 then. I'm just going to double check my maths there. So what I'm trying to do here is to minimize this segment. So I minimize it by putting the lowest digits I can and doubling the lowest of those. So that would be the minimum. And I think that doesn't add up to an even number. This is going to have an even value. So the minimum here is 6 plus 7, 13. So we have to increase that to get 14, which means this is at least a 7. And okay, that's not helpful. So maybe I am meant to look at this line then. How did we work? How did this work? We worked out there had to be a doubler in there. Yeah, this is a 6-cell line, isn't it? So it's adding up to 21 if it can be entirely purple. It definitely can't be entirely purple. There's got to be a green in there to avoid a 2 by 2. Yes, okay, but no. So we've got one doubler here, which could be a doubled 9. That would be worth 18. Plus that digit, which then, if that was a doubled 9, this could have a maximum value of 6, because 7, 8, 9 would have gone in the row. So the maximum is 24 for this line. So, if it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we doubled 2 of the digits on the line, what would that give us? It would give us 18 plus... Oh, bobbins, that works! We can't double 3 of the digits on the line, but we could double 1 and 2. If we doubled 1 and 2 on the line, and the rest of the digits on the line were 3, 4, 5, 6, it would add up to 24, which would work in the very specific situation where this is 9 and this is 6. But okay, does that have to be a 7, 8, 9 then? If that was 6 doubled, 6 doubled is 12. Yes, it does. It definitely does. Because 6 doubled is 12. If I make that 9 then, for the maximum value of this segment, that's 21. Now you may say, oh, but that could add to 21. It can't, because I could populate it with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for 21, but one of them would be doubled in here. One of these must be green. So it doesn't work. So this is 7, 8, or 9. And that's, well, that's no higher than 6 now. And the minimum sum we think we're getting to is 22, isn't it? So that's at least a 4. Because the way I've got 4 there is I'm doubling the 9 and then getting to 22 from there. So I think that is 4, 5, or 6. Now, can that be 7 actually? 14? No. No, absolutely. It might not be up to be 8. Oh no, it can be. It can just be 8. Double 8 plus 6 would work. Oh, bobbins. Okay, so that digit's the same as that digit. Those two are the same. Oh, this is really clever. It's a very clever puzzle, this, but I'm not quite getting it, am I? Here's a good question. Where's 1 and 2 in this box? Now, I don't think you can repeat 1 and 2 on this sort of weird shaped line. So they can't repeat in their own row, so they are there, which means 1 and 2 are up here. Now it's getting really dodgy to put 1 and 2 on this line. Oh no, it's still got a few places it can go. Not there though. Not there, not there. So it is these 3, isn't it? Does that matter? I'm not sure. Is it... Okay, one of these is green. Is it possible all of those are purple? Let me just look at that for a second. That looks okay, doesn't it? This would be green, that would be green, and providing we didn't also make that green... Oh, hang on, we wouldn't... Hang on, there is something here. Okay, I've got a weird conclusion now. So, here is my conclusion. I think it's right, but I'm not sure, but this is, bear with me. What I'm thinking is this. I think this actually really, I think it might matter for these. What I'm thinking is this. Is it possible that there is only one double digit on here? Now I've worked out that if there are 2 double digits, the only possible way that this works is with 1 and 2 being doubled and 3, 4, 5, 6 being singled. That's the only way it works if 2 digits are doubled. Now if 1 digit is doubled, I know that that double digit is in one of those squares to avoid the 2 by 2. So these would have to be solitary and purple, but that makes this cell green, and that makes this cell green on the line, and this would be a green cell on this line that is not a 1 or a 2 being doubled. So it would be the only digit being doubled, and it would have to be a 3. And what's interesting about 3 being doubled on this line is it contributes the same additional value, i.e. another 3, as if you doubled 1 and 2 on the line. So either way, we now know that this line is maxed. It adds up to 24, because either there's a double 3 here, or there's a 1 and a 2, there are 2 double digits, and they have to be 1 and 2, and they'd have to be in that string. In fact, they'd have to be exactly those two, because that can't be doubled, because it's purple. So either there's a 1, 2 doubled here, or there's a 3 doubled here. But this is always 9, this is always 6, this is always 9. This is not 6. Now, what does that mean? I don't know, actually. That's okay. I don't know. 9 is in one of 2 places by Sudoku. Oh, that's always purple. Let's not lose the track of that. That was an early deduction that we shouldn't waste. One of these is purple, one of these is green. Could we... Do we know more about this line now? We've got a doubler on it. Can we have 2 doublers on this line? So is it possible one of those is green? The answer is I'm not sure. If that was green, I'd have 2 greens, which could be at least 1, 2, so we'd be at 18, so I can, yeah, that could be double 9. But I think it's probably more likely that both of those are pink or purple. I'm not sure, actually. Okay, where am I meant to look here? This digit is... Actually, that digit's restricted because it sees 1 and 2. So that's 3, 4, or 5. Oh, okay. Sorry. That's what's. It's not maybe huge, but it's really important, isn't it? Because now this line, the enormous line segment has 3, 4, 5, and 6 on it, and it's got 1 and 2 on it. So these must be 7, 8, and 9. They are not 9. This is 9 by Sudoku. This is 8. That's huge. That's going to be it, because that's going to put so much pressure on this line. Wow. Okay, hang on. So now I've got 1, 2, 7, 8, 9. This is 3, 4, 5. That's annoying. If that wasn't able to be 3, then I would know exactly how this line works. I don't know. This I think will be the low-hanging fruit, because it's only worth 16 now. And I know exactly how this line works. So how do you keep this line to only having a value of 16? It's got 5 different numbers on it. The triangular number for 5 is 15, and that's if all of those were purple, which they're clearly not, because that's definitely not purple. Even my colour blindness allows me to see that. That must be 1. These squares must be 2, 3, 4, 5. And that gives us, whoopsie, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that gives us 15 naked plus the double 1, 16, which is the value of this. Now, there is a 1 in one of those squares by Sudoku. Surely we can do better than that. Is that a triple or something? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, that's a triple, the 6 of which is up there. So that is no longer 6. So now I've got a 3, 4, 5 triple on this sort of line coming out of there, the key line. So that's got to be the 6 on the key line. I've got a 3, 4, 5 triple here. The 2 in the column is in those squares, so that's not 2 to repeat on the line. I've got a 3, 4, 5 triple in this column now. So that's going to push up the value of this stuff. Yeah. I mean, if 2 wasn't down here, if there was no 2 in those two squares, they would be at least 6 plus 7, one of which would be doubled. That cannot be right. No, that's going to break this total completely, because it would already be too high. Even if you doubled the 6 and added 7 to it, you're still on 19, which is higher than that can ever be. So there is a 2 on this line, definitely at the bottom, which we could have got by using simple Sudoku. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Oh, if that's a 1, then I can't put 1 on that line at all. That must break, mustn't it? The minimum on the line would be 2, 3, 4, 5. Double the rubbishy digits. Yeah, we'd be at 19. Because you double the 2 and the 3 for 10, plus 4 and 5. That's 19, isn't it? So there is a 1 on the line, and we know exactly where it goes. It goes there. Oh, the only thing about that that's a bit surprising is that is not, that's in a plain vanilla cell. That means we're doubling at least 2 and 3. Oh, I don't like this. I think I've broken the puzzle. I'm not certain. I just think I might have done. The minimum value of those is 2 and 6, isn't it? And the way that you minimize the value of this is doubling the 2 and leaving the 6 alone. And if you did that, those squares are worth 11. But you've still got this digit to come. Oh, actually, no, that's absolutely fine, because that could be a... Oh, no, it's doubled. No, it's not fine. It's not fine. It's really not fine. In fact, hang on, what's the parity of this? Oh, that's weird. That is a weird thought I've just had there. Okay, bear with me. Sorry. This is important, because I worked out there was a 2 down here. I'm now telling you the 2 is here. I think this has to be odd, because the sum of these is doubled to equal this, which is doubled. In other words, the value of these, this is even, that's even, so the difference here must be even, and these are both normal digits, and that's odd. So the only way to correct the count is for this to be odd. So this is either 7 or a 9. It can't be 9. It just can't be, can it? I say that without a great deal of confidence. So if this was 3, you'd be on 10. Yeah, it would break. It has to be 7. It has to be 7. This has to be 3. And now we've got 18 on the line, and that's a 9. Good grief. It's really interesting, isn't it? It is a very clever puzzle, this. So here we've got... What have we got? 896, is that what we're looking at? Whoops. So that's not 9. Now, what do we get for that? We must get, oh, I see. No, yeah, where's 7 in this column? We get that. That's 7, that's 8. So that's 8 by Sudoku. So 8 is in one of those 3 squares. That might be important. I need to think about it. These squares are 3, 4, 5, 6, aren't they? I mean, it's a slightly overzealous pencil mark, but that's not 3 in the corner, so we won't be singing down there. We could get a 3 there, not here. that digit's interesting. Yeah, look at that digit. I think that has to be doubled. Because by Sudoku, it's not 6, 7, 8 or 9, so its maximum naked value would be 5. But we're adding 3 different digits together, even if they're not doubled. And we know 3 different Sudoku digits will add up to at least 6, so that's doubled. It doesn't do anything, but it's doubled. So if that was a 5 doubled, it would be worth 10. So we can't make these worth more than 10. It's interesting, isn't it? It does feel to me. I might be wrong with what I'm about to say, so forgive me if I am. But it does feel to me as if there's something going on here that I haven't properly understood. And the reason I say that is that I can't see how to make much progress from this stuff here, or even this stuff here. I mean, that digit is the same as that digit. I can see that. I'll just give those a quick label so that I remember that. Because that digit has to appear on this segment. I mean, 7 is in one of those squares, that's certainly true. One of those is purple, one is green. So if that was purple, both of those would be green to avoid a checkerboard. No, okay, so I don't know. Right, so we're going to have to think harder. How do we do said thinking? Let me think. Let me think about how we do said thinking. There are some things we can say, can't we? For example, because I know one of these two squares is a doubler, any cell on this line segment that cannot be very low, like 1 or 2, like for example, this cell here, is it possible it's a doubler? I'm going to claim no. What doubler is green, isn't it? If this was green, because by Sudoku it's at least a doubled 3, and because I know there's a doubler there as well, we're adding too much to the line. We're adding at least a 1 doubled plus a 3 doubled to the minimum of 21. And that's too much because we're adding 4 to 21, which is 25. This only adds up to 24. So that is purple, and that's going to be the same for this digit because this also can't be 1 or 2. So that is also purple. So this is green by avoiding a 2 by 2. Now, what does that mean? That's done it. That's weird. Right, now we've got to be careful with checkerboards. Look here. Look at this domino now. So the question I want to ask is, can that be purple? Because if it's purple, now I have to avoid a checkerboard here. But I can't. Because that's green to avoid this being a 2 by 2. So that just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. This has to be green. Therefore nothing. Therefore, this is a doubler, and it must be 3, because we know we can't double more than 3 on this line. So the rest of this line is 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, but we know more than that. We know that the 1 and the 2 have to be. We know everything else on the line is purple. That's forced. Avoid a checkerboard here. So this green has to get out. This is so good. GTC, this is so good. That is not a 6. So we've got a 4, 5 pair. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So these are 7, 8, 9. I know 1 and 2 are in this string, so that's definitely not 2. Now can we do more though? Because I mean that's nice, but it's not, that's not 6, I suppose. I don't think it's quite enough. It's not as much as I was expecting to get once, you know, if somebody had shown me, oh, we can do all of this shading, I'd have been like, great, that's going to really tidy up the puzzle, and it just hasn't. Oh, well, it probably has, I just can't see why. 3 is in one of those 2 cells by Sudoku. So that was a doubler, wasn't it? And if that's 3, it's got to be a doubler, and that's got to be a single 6, which looks possible actually. Okay, so how do we do this? Is it going to be something, it could be something weird like that cell seeing almost all of these digits. It doesn't work because it doesn't see that one, so it could be a repeat. But it could be some sort of logic like that. I don't see it though. Oh, I'm sorry if this is obvious, which it could be. I don't see where to look. Oh, okay. No, 9 is down there. So I'm now resorting to Sudoku of all things, in the hope that that rescues me. Oh, this digit has to appear on the ring, and it's got to be there. So that is now 4 or 5. So that is now 4 or 5. That is A, which I hadn't appreciated before. So that is A. Ooh, can we do something with this? Maybe, don't know actually. This is a 3, 4, 5 triple. So that digit is in one of those 2 cells. And that being 4 or 5, I mean, it means 3 is in one of those, it means 3 is in one of those, so I suppose 3 is in one of those then. I don't think this, I think I'm missing the point. Oh, I'm acutely aware of it. Oh, do I know that? I know the colours of these, because this line has only one doubler on it, so they are purple. So that's got to be green. That might do something. This green has to get out. Ah, that's big. That green's got to get out, so that's the doubler. That's got to be undoubled. So this is 1, 2, 3 or 4. It's 1 or 2 actually, I think, because it's got 3 and it's got a 4, 5 pair in its column. In fact, it's 2 because it sees 1. So that's 2. So that's got to be 4. Therefore, this is 3 by Sudoku doubled. Okay, so this little line now, that's 6 is the value for that. How do you keep this down to 6 given it's 3 different digits? The only way is if it's all purple and it's a 1, 2, 3 triple, which if this doesn't work I will be very upset, because that seems to be logical. That's not 8. That's not 1 by the power of Grayskull and Sudoku. Avoid a checkerboard here, so that's got to be green. Avoid a 2 by 2, that's got to be, this has got to be green. Avoid a checkerboard, that's got to be green. Wow, okay. I don't know what that means, but that was exciting for a moment or two. Right, 4, look, is not in these squares, as 2 isn't either. So where's 2 on this funny old line? There seems to be the only place for it. So this isn't 2. Look, I've chocolate teapotted down here on this 1, 2, 3 triple. It's bizarre. So 2 is now there on the other line. This one isn't 4. There's suddenly a whole wealth of Sudoku I'm being forced to do. GDC, it's outrageous. What are you playing at? Making me do all this Sudoku. That's a 2, that's a 1. So 2 is in one of these 2 cells. This is now 1. Okay, so 1, 3, 2. 2 goes here. 3 goes here now by Sudoku. And presumably, look at this column, 6 and 7 go into those squares. I imagine we might be able to know the order there, and actually maybe not. 2 in the top cell has got to be there using our pencil marks. This is probably an 8, but I haven't done any thinking about this line yet, so we're going to have to do that in a minute. Okay. And now we have to think again. This column is quite replete, isn't it? 1, 5 and 9. This is 5 or 9. This is, I see, where's 1 in the column is a very, very reasonable question. It's got to be there. So that's not 1. So 1 is now in one of these. Ah, that's a terrible thing to do. It's in one of those 3 cells. And 1 is in one of these 3 cells. How many 2s have I got in the grid? All of them. How many 3s have I got in the grid? A few. It's no better than a few, though, is it? Okay. Okay. So we're going to have to think again. I mean, is this going to have to be doubled, or do we just not know? Actually, look, that's doubled. Oh. Ooh. Oh, hang on. There are 2 double digits on here. Because these can't both be purple. Because that will create a 2 by 2. So there's at least a double here, which is at least a 3. And that's at least a 1. So the minimum we can double on here would be 1 plus 3 for 8. Plus another digit here, which would be at least a 5. So this is definitely doubled. It can't be a single digit. So that's, look, we're doing a few things to avoid checkerboards now. Avoid a checkerboard again. Avoid a 2 by 2. Avoid a, look, it's just filling itself in by shading. If all of that can't be doubled, well, then we are in an interesting position. It can't be. Gosh, it's close though. If this, okay, imagine these were both green. Let's keep this to a minimum. These 2 could be a 3-5 pair, and this could be a 1. Now that gives us effectively 9 doubled for 18. That can't be a 9 by Sudoku, so it's not possible that both of these are doubled. But we know one of them is doubled, because otherwise we've got 2 by 2s. So this is sort of one of each here. Now, the interesting thing about that is it forms a wall. So I want to look at this green portion of the grid. How does it connect to its friends? It can't get through there because one of these is purple. So it must go through there. And now I've done all the shading bar something here. Now, does that matter though? Is a good question. I'm sure it does somehow. Oh, I don't know. We probably are going to have to think harder about this again, aren't we? What if, okay, what if you didn't have a doubled 3 on that segment? Then it would be a doubled 5 at least. Oh, that's, oh, actually, look, you can't even make this a 3-5 pair, because that would break that cell. So the minimum this is 3 and 6. And the 6, you can't double the 6. No, you can't double the 6. It would be too big. 12 plus 3 is 15. 16, 17 with a doubled 1. Actually, it's close, but that can't be high enough, because that could only be double 8, getting you to 16. So I think there is a doubled 3 here. There must be a 3 here. There must be a 3 here, and it must be doubled. Oh, and I see, and I know where it goes. Right, so that's the doubled 3. Ah, no, hang on. Let's make sure we get it right. That's doubled 3. This is purple. And this is, well, it's even by parity again. Those two, are, whatever they are, they're doubled. That's doubled, so that's got to be even. So it's 6 or 8. How can this not be 1? It must be 1. If this is 4 doubled, 8, I mean, we're getting into silly world. 14, no, it doesn't work at all. That's definitely 1. So what we've got here is 4 doubled, so 8 plus this digit, which is naked. So this is 7 or 8 is where we are, depending on what this is. I'm looking around the grid thinking, okay, this is going to be resolved by something. And rather terrifyingly, I'm not sure it is. I suppose the 3 here does resolve that digit. So that's 5, which makes our A digit 4, wherever that occurs. So 4, 5, that becomes a 3. That's no longer 4. This is 4, that's our A digit. So let's try and keep track of that. I feel like I just put a whole flurry of 4s into the grid. Have they helped me? Maybe not. There's a 4 down there. There's a 4 in that cell or that cell. Okay, where's 3 in the top row? That seems to have to be the cell that's 3. So that's 5. So that's 6. So that's 5 on the same line as itself. That's, oh, that's good. So that's now 8. Which must mean that's 8. I'm going to, oh yeah, that does work, because 1 plus 3 doubled is 8. So that is working. That is not 8 anymore. That's not 8 anymore. That's 6 or 7. That's good. Yes, where's 8 in the middle box, I suppose, is the easier question. We should probably focus on 8s. I think that's what we're learning. Let's double click the 8s. Oh no, actually there is a possibility it's those. I don't know how to do that. Okay, so we are going to have to think again. 4 here gives me a 5, 6 pair. So those squares are now 4 and 7. You say that and you think it must be resolved, but I'm not sure it is. Oh, what are those digits? 1 and 5. Okay, and in this row, 4, 6, 7. And we have got a little bit, we can get rid of 4 from this one. This row, 3, 7, 8. Ah, 3, 3, 3. That's doable. Aha! That gets me my 8, which gets 8 and 7 done. So this is 9. And that should finish it, I think. That's 7, that's 6. This digit is 4 or 7. Okay, what's going on in this column? We've got 1, 5, 9 to place. So this is 5 or 9. 1, 5 or 9 at the bottom. This is 6, 7 or 9. That's 7 or 9 therefore, because it sees a 6. I'm so sorry. I know this. I know it's finished. It must be. Ah, yeah, there we go. That's 5. I know that's just a hanging digit that did nothing. These are 4, 6, 7. There's just some Sudoku somewhere that I can't see, and that's very annoying for you and for me. Where is it? 5. 5 is restricted to those squares. This can't be a 5 now by sort of weird X-wing logic. It's a bit simpler than that. Because the 5s are locked into those squares in box 4 and those squares in box 1, we could ask where 5 goes in the first column of the grid. It must be in one of these cells, mustn't it? So that's not 5. Right, so what does that mean? What's that digit? It's not 1, 2, 3. It could be 4, maybe. It can't be 5 for the reasons we've just been talking about. It can't be 6, 7, 8, or... Oh, good grief. I mean, how am I meant to see that? That is a naked single. I think it can only be 4. I'm going to double check that because it's so ludicrous, but it sees 1, 2, 3. I think it is 4. It sees 5. 5 is in one of those cells in the box. It sees 6. It sees 7. It sees 8. It sees 4. Okay, so that's 4. So that means that's 4 apparently. So this is 6. That's 7. That's 7. That's 6. That's 6. That's 9. This is 9. So this is 5 now. Okay, that does the 5 and the 1 at the top. 4 in this box has to go there. So that has to be 7. That's 7. That's 4. I think this is a 5 or a 6 by Sudoku. This is 9. Ah, yeah, okay. So 9, 9, 5, 5, 6. Where's 6? It's got to be here. There, this has done it. This has done it. That was quite tricky at the end there, but a very cunning bit of Sudoku. And what a lovely puzzle. What a lovely puzzle. I'm just going to have a quick look at it just to check. The yin-yang looks sensible. Often if you go to colours and click them, it becomes easier to sort of see whether you've got 2x2s and everything's connected. It looks great, doesn't it? I think it must be right. Yes, yes it is. Absolutely brilliant, GDC. Harmonic split. We have achieved a harmonic split and enjoyed it mightily indeed. That's a genius puzzle, isn't it? Just beautiful. Really clever logic. The way that the yin-yang sort of folded in with the Sudoku. Just lovely. Lovely. Let me know in the comments how you got on with the puzzle. Enjoy the comments, especially when they're kind. And we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.